Welcome to Her Subconscious Blueprint, your no BS space for subconscious healing, bold breakthroughs, and manifestations. I'm Jen Boyd, hypnotherapist, mindset coach, and your new healing hype girl. Today, we're diving into something I know so many of us have experienced, but maybe you never had the language for it. It's the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop responses. These are our nervous system's fear-based reactions to perceived threats. The thing is, most of us aren't living in actual danger anymore, but our brains still respond like we are. If you've ever had a moment where your heart is pounding, you're sweating, your chest feels tight, and you think, I'm so stressed I can't even remember how to do anything, then you've been there. Your mind goes blank, your body goes into survival mode. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're just human. And more importantly, you can learn how to heal. The truth is, these survival responses are ancient. They're wired into our biology. Thousands of years ago, they actually kept us alive. Picture this. You're a hunter, gatherer on the plains. You hear a rustle in the grass. In a split second, your amygdala, the fear center in your brain, decides whether that sound is a breeze or a lion. Before your logical mind can even think, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart races, your pupils dilate, your muscles tense. You either grab a weapon and you prepare to fight, or you run like hell. That's the fight or flight. And if neither is possible, if the lion is already on top of you, your body freezes. It shuts down pain, slows your breathing, and plays dead in hopes the threat passes. This was genius in primitive times, but now the lions are gone. Our modern threats look different. A toxic boss, a breakup, a financial stress, an unresolved childhood wound. But your body doesn't know that. It reacts the same way. Your email pings with criticism, your partner withdraws, your bills pile up, and your body goes, lion. It floods you with the same chemistry meant to save your life, even when you're just sitting at your desk. So let's talk about each of these responses, what it looks like today. Let's start with fight. The fight response is rooted in protection. It's the body's way of saying, I'll survive by overpowering the threat. Back in the wild, this gave us the strength to defend ourselves, to fight off predators. In our modern world, that same energy might show up as needing to control everything. You might find yourself clenching your jaw, getting easily irritated, or needing to have the last word. You might expect perfection from others or yourself, and when things don't go your way, you explode. This doesn't mean that you're an angry person. It just means your nervous system is scanning for danger and control feels like safety. For me, fight showed up as believing if I wasn't strong, I wasn't safe. I had to be tough, unshakable, always on guard. Underneath all that armor was fear. Fear of being hurt, fear of being disappointed again, fear of losing control. Many of us who developed this response grew up in homes where we had to be our own protectors. Maybe you were the oldest child keeping the peace, or you learned early that the world was unpredictable, so you built your safety through control. Healing fight begins when you realize you no longer have to defend yourself from everything. You can soften. You can remind your body that I'm safe now. Sometimes that means unclenching your jaw, loosening your shoulders, breathing deeper, or walking away before reacting. The goal isn't to eliminate your strength. It's to redirect it. Strength doesn't have to mean tension. It can mean grounded presence. Then we have flight. This one's sneaky because it can look like ambition or productivity, but underneath is fear. In primitive times, flight is what kept us alive. When the threat was too big to fight, running was the best option. The surge of adrenaline gave us speed and stamina to escape. Today, you're probably not running from the predator. You're running from stillness. If you're constantly busy, overworking, obsessively cleaning, scrolling, or filling every minute with something to do, your nervous system is in flight. You might say, I just have a lot on my plate. But really, stillness feels dangerous because it gives space for emotions to surface. I used to tell myself I was just driven. I was proud of my hustle, but underneath, I was terrified that slowing down meant facing feelings I wasn't ready to feel. Flight often begins in childhood when chaos or tension was constant. Maybe your house was loud, unpredictable, full of conflict. Maybe you learned that staying busy, staying out of the way, or staying in your head kept you safe. So your adult brain equated rest with danger. That's why when you try to relax, you feel restless or anxious. Your body's saying, don't stop, it's not safe yet. Healing flight means learning to stop running. Not all at once, but moment by moment. You start by pausing before you react. Take small breaks. Step outside, feel the air on your face. Let yourself do nothing for just 30 seconds. Tell your body it's safe to slow down. Over time, that becomes your new normal. You stop equating stillness with threat and start associating it with peace. Now, freeze. This one can feel the hardest because it mimics depression, exhaustion, or hopelessness. Freeze is what happens when fighting or running isn't possible. In nature, think of a deer caught in headlights. Muscles lock, unable to move. In humans, it's when your system shuts down to protect you from overwhelm. You might feel numb, detached, stuck in your head, or unable to make decisions. You might scroll for hours, binge shows, or procrastinate because your body says doing nothing is safer than doing the wrong thing. When I was in freeze, I thought I was lazy. I'd cancel plans. I'd withdraw from people I loved. I felt disconnected, but it wasn't laziness. It was self-protection. My body was saying, you've reached capacity. Freeze often develops in kids who felt trapped, who couldn't fight or flee. Maybe you were yelled at no matter what you did. Maybe your feelings were dismissed or punished. So your nervous system learned to go quiet, to disappear. And as adults, that turns into avoidance. The antidote is gentle reawakening, not forcing gentleness, but start by noticing small sensations in your body, your feet on the floor, your breath moving in and out. Movement helps too. So wiggle your fingers, stretch side to side. It tells your body it's safe to move again. Healing from freeze is like thawing, slowly, softly, with warmth. Then there's fawn, the people-pleasing response. This is the one that says, if I can keep everyone happy, I'll be safe. Fawn shows up when you learn that your survival depended on others' approval. In childhood, that might have meant keeping the peace, caretaking, or suppressing your own needs to avoid conflict. You may have had a parent whose moods ruled the house, and you became the emotional manager. As an adult, you might find yourself over-apologizing, saying yes when you meant no, feeling anxious when someone's upset with you. You confuse harmony with safety, and you abandon yourself to maintain connection. For me, Fawn looked like being the calm girl. I told myself I was easygoing and chill, but truthfully, I was terrified of rejection. I thought love meant making myself smaller. And healing Fawn means learning that conflict, it doesn't equal danger. Disagreement doesn't mean disconnection. You start by pausing before saying yes. Ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? You might not know at first because your body is used to overriding your needs. But the more you practice listening inward, the stronger the inner voice gets. You realize that your safety now comes from authenticity, not appeasement. You can survive someone being disappointed. You can survive not being liked by everyone. And that realization is freeing. Lastly, flop. This is the least known trauma response, but one of the most profound. Flop happens when the body is completely overwhelmed and shuts down altogether. It's like total collapse. Muscles go limp, the body disassociates. Sometimes people even faint. In animals, we see it as playing dead. In humans, it's often linked to extreme stress or trauma. It's your body's last resort safety mechanism, like hitting an internal power off switch. You might feel disconnected from reality, like you're watching life through a fog. You might struggle to remember events that happened during high stress. It's not that you're broken. Your body literally is just protecting you by checking out. Flop often stems from experiences of chronic, inescapable stress, emotional neglect, long-term trauma, or feeling powerless for years. When fight, flight, and freeze don't work, your system says, well, I'll just leave my body instead. Healing flop requires compassion. You can't force yourself out of disassociation. You rebuild safety gently. Techniques like tapping or gentle yoga or body scanning, even humming or holding something textured in your hand can help you come back into the present. When you notice you're detached, try grounding through your senses. What can I see? What can I hear? What can I touch? The goal isn't to never disassociate again. It's to bring yourself back more quickly each time. All of these responses, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop, they all come from one place, survival. They're not random. They are your body's ancient attempt to keep you alive. But your body doesn't know the difference between physical danger and emotional threat. It doesn't know that a critical email or a tense conversation isn't a lion. It just knows I feel unsafe. The good news is you can retrain it. You can teach your nervous system to safely exist here in the present. A very good framework that you can use for this is called the polyvagal theory. It's by Dr. Stephen Porges. It says our nervous system works like a ladder. At the top is safety, calm, connection, creativity. When we sense threat, we drop down into fight or flight. If danger feels inescapable, we fall into freeze or flop. The goal of healing isn't to force yourself up the ladder, it's to gently climb back up by showing your body cues of safety. This could be deep breathing, laughing, singing, eye contact, hugging, or even just grounding in nature. Every time you do, you send your vagus nerve a message that says the danger has passed. Over time, your baseline shifts. You live from safety, not survival. Now, let's connect this to your thoughts because your subconscious mind doesn't just respond to external danger, it reacts to the internal ones too. Think of those looping thoughts that keep you stuck. I'm not good enough. I can't do anything right. They're mad at me. Those thoughts trigger the same stress responses as physical threats. Your body floods with adrenaline, your chest tightens, your brain short circuits, not because of the lion, but because of the idea. But here's the thing, thoughts are not facts. Just because you think it doesn't make it true. When you have a looping thought, notice it, name it. That's called cognitive labeling. And studies show it calms the amygdala. You might say something like, I'm having the thought that I'm not good enough. That small shift separates you from the story. Then reframe it. Instead of, I'm not good enough, try, I'm learning. Instead of, I can't handle this, it's too much, say, I can take this one step at a time. Your subconscious listens to repetition. It doesn't care if something is true or false, only if it's familiar. So if you've spent years repeating fear, your body made that your comfort zone. Healing means making peace familiar. There is a tool that you can use for breaking these thought loops. And it's what we just talked about, the ladder. So first you identify the thought, then the feeling that it creates, then the behavior that the feeling drives, then the results that reinforces the thought. For example, I think I'm stupid. That thought creates insecurities. That feeling makes you stay quiet in meetings. That silence reinforces the belief. And you say, see, I don't have ideas. That's the loop. Interrupt it anywhere in the chain. Speak even when your voice shakes. That action gives your brain the new evidence that maybe I'm not stupid. Over time, that becomes the new belief. This is how we move from subconscious reaction to conscious creation. You can't eliminate these survival instincts. They're built in, but you can teach them that they're not in charge. You can learn your body's language and build trust with it again. When you feel a trigger, instead of judging it, get curious. Which response is this? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or flop? That awareness alone creates space. Space to breathe, space to choose differently. If you notice you're in fight, focus on softening your body. If you're in flight, slow your movements. If you're in freeze, add a gentle motion. If you're in fawn, practice saying no. And if you're in flop, come back to your senses with texture or sound. These small cues teach your nervous system that you're safe now. The danger isn't here anymore. You don't have to armor up, run, shut down, or disappear. You are not your trauma response. You're not your anxiety. You're not your reactivity or your people pleasing. You're not your anxiety. You're not your reactivity. And you're not your people pleasing. You are a human being with a nervous system that's doing its best with what it has been through. Every time you bring awareness to a pattern that you reclaim power, every time you soothe instead of shame yourself, you rewire your subconscious blueprint. Healing doesn't mean that you never get triggered again. It means that you recognize the patterns faster and return to calm sooner. You'll start noticing the shifts. You'll realize that situations that used to send you spiraling now barely even ruffle you. You'll pause instead of panic. You'll breathe instead of explode. You'll honor your boundaries instead of abandoning them. And that's not luck, that's rewiring. And it's proof that safety is something that you can build on no matter what your past is. You are not meant to live in survival forever. You're meant to thrive. You're meant to expand, create, love, and rest. The same nervous system that once protected you can now support you. It's the same energy. It just needs a new direction. The same nervous system that once protected you, it can now support you. It's the same energy, and it just needs direction. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need this reminder. I am so proud of you for doing this work. Keep going. You are capable of healing. I'm so full of love and gratitude that I get to share my story with you. This is Her Subconscious Blueprint, where we don't just chase the dreams, we become them. And remember, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. So go out and be that version today. Much love and gratitude. I will see you next time.